right. Welcome, Midwest Conference football fans. Today I'm here with Monmouth head coach Chad Braun. How are we doing today?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good, coach. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about last season a little bit just to reflect. What were some of the biggest lessons learned from last season, and how do you guys plan to apply those to achieve better result this year?
Yeah, I would say, some of the biggest lessons we learned is, that you got to come prepared to play every game. Early in the season, when we lost that tough one to Illinois College, I think 20-17. Honestly, at that point, Lake Forest had already beaten Illinois College, and we really didn't think that one was going to come back to bite us. We thought we were still going to have an opportunity to win the conference, and it was early in the year, and there was still a lot of games ahead, and but we didn't get that opportunity. That opportunity never came around again. So you got to be ready to play each and every week, and hats off to Illinois College. They were definitely the better team that day, for sure, and they were the best team in the conference. They proved it last year. So but you got to come to play each and every week in this conference for sure.
Definitely. So talk a little bit about the philosophy of your coaching style. How do you adapt your coaching philosophy to align with the strengths and weaknesses of your roster each season?
Yeah, I really don't think we adapt. I would say our offense, our defense to our personnel, but our overall philosophy really stays the same. We're gonna be a positive coaching staff. We're gonna be an energetic coaching staff. We're gonna coach our guys, have high expectations for our players, and but we're gonna have a to work. To have success. There's no secret to being good. You got to work, and and that's what our players do. There's a high expectation when you come to play football at Monmouth College, and it's a competitive place. And year to year, as a coach, hopefully I grow and I get better year to year as a coach, and I'm still learning, still find ways that I can get better, still motivated. But our kind of culture is our culture. Our guys are going to come to work every day and try and get better every day, and then the results will take care of themselves. So
Definitely. And I was for the next question was about culture. How would you exactly describe the current culture within your team, and what
yeah,
actions have you taken as well to shape that?
yeah, yeah. So I would say our culture is built upon competitiveness. We have really a great culture of competitiveness here at Monmouth College. Our guys are going to compete in everything they do. They're going to compete in the classroom. They're going to compete in the weight room. They're going to compete out on the field. We do a ton of competitive situations in practice. We'll do 3rd and 5. There's 5 plays. Either the offense wins or the defense wins, and
Yeah,
so we're going to do a ton of competitive situations. But there's also a culture of love. I think our players know that we love them, we care about them, we want to see them be successful not only on the football field but more importantly in the classroom and in life. So I think that's what our program's really all about.
definitely, coach. So okay, the next question is for you. Player development. What metrics do you guys use to measure player development? How do you guys adjust training programs based on those metrics?
Yeah, so I mean, I would say player development is very huge in our program. It's something that like we generally don't get a lot of freshmen that can come in and contribute right away. We'll have one or two every year make a significant contribution. So we really have to develop our players, in our program. One way that we develop them is through a JV program. We play 4 JV games. Those guys that aren't playing varsity are getting an opportunities to still develop and play some JV games and get to develop that way. The same coaches that coach at the varsity level, coach at the JV level. Now within that, we're developing coaches on our staff. We allow different coaches to call plays during those JV games, so that's part of their development too. We want to see our coaches on our staff develop too, and get an opportunity to call plays that normally don't. So someday they can be a coordinator and have success in that role in their life too. So, but yeah, player development is huge. We develop guys in the off season, in the weight room. The saying we like to say around here that championships are won in the off season. They're not won during the season. You got to really develop in the off season from a physical standpoint. Very few freshmen coming in physically are ready to play college football, and so they got to spend the time in the weight room developing their bodies, getting bigger, stronger, faster. Time out on the field, being able to change directions better, develop their speed, all those things. So yeah, we're big into player development for sure.
Definitely. And to talk about player leadership. Leadership is pretty pivotal in a successful team. How do you envision player leadership evolving this season based on last year's experiences? And even who are some of your emerging leaders on the team?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, when a coach says something, when you have a coach led team, usually you can have a decent team. When you have a player led team, you got a chance to have a great team. And we've been fortunate. We've had a lot of great leaders, come through our program to lead our program. We graduated our biggest leader last year, a guy named Tanner Tomaski. He was a linebacker for us. He was a tremendous leader. He was kind of the voice of the program. So it's going to be interesting to see who kind of steps up into that role on our team. We have several guys coming back that I could see fulfilling that role. Tevin Baker's a defensive end that had 12 sacks a year ago. He's a fifth-year guy. He's more of a lead by example type guy. He's going to work hard every day, do those things. He's a little bit quieter, so we're hoping that he comes out of his shell and becomes more of a vocal leader. There's another guy on our defense, Nick Harris, who's been a really productive safety for us. Another fifth-year guy coming back, who's really done a tremendous job. As a player, and he's got a little bit more personality to him. He may be a little bit more vocal, but also a great leader on our team. And then on the offensive side of the ball, I really anticipate Nate Thornton, who was been our top receiver the last 3 years, coming back, a fifth-year guy. Being a little bit more vocal with him, and then Jackson Bergeron, another receiver that'll be a senior for us, really productive. He's a lot like Tevin, where they're kind of lead by example type guys. And then we got McCade Brooks, who's a running back. He'll be a senior for us, and great work ethic and great leader from that position.
Definitely, coach. Awesome. And to ask you guys about the fan and community engagement, how important is it for fan support?
Your volume cut out on me there.
Oh, sorry, coach. For fan and community engagement, how important is fan support and community engagement?
I can't hear you at all.
All right. All right, coach. For the next question, I have fan and community engagement. How important is fan support and community engagement for your team, and how do you guys plan to foster that this season?
Yeah, it's huge. I think when you're playing at home, it's called home field advantage for a reason, right? So I think we've done a really good job. The Monmouth community does a tremendous job coming out and supporting our student section. Does a great job coming out and supporting our football program. Some of the ways that we get involved in the community, we do in the spring, we do a community-wide cleanup for the elderly in town, and we go out and clean yards and kind of help them get their yards cleaned up for the spring and kind of build relationships through that. And then, our guys do a tremendous job just getting out in the community and acting the right way and being around, people program in a positive manner. And so, the community does a great job coming out and supporting us with our student section. I think our guys have really tight relationships with other teams on campus. And I think the relationships that they have with some of the other teams on campus, the other athletes on campus, they want to come out and support job supporting basketball, and other sports on campus also. I think it's important to have that, and creates excitement. Players want to play before a big crowd, an excited crowd, and when we can have that at our games, it definitely makes it more exciting for sure.
Definitely. And for the last question, Coach, just talk about some of your most favorite moments coaching this team during your time.
Yeah, I've had a lot of great ones, so I've been at the same place, I've been here since January 2000. Been the head coach since 2015. So, I've had a lot of great moments, during my time. It'd be hard for me to single out any one particular moment or there's just been so many, great players that I've had the opportunity to coach through the years, and so many great memories. I think, one thing that, you're talking about home crowd and home field atmosphere. Something that never gets old to me is coming out to the bagpipes. When you hear those bagpipes playing at Monmouth, it's just pretty special. The hair stands up on my arms, and I've been doing it for a lot of years here, and it still gets me excited every time I hear the bagpipes. But I just think every year's a new challenge, and a chance to make new memories, and as a coach, it's about relationships. Those are the things that we're going to remember, some of the wins and losses, but the things we're really going to remember are the relationships that we built over time.
Definitely. Awesome, Coach. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for working with me and being patient with me on figuring out a time.
No, you're all good. Thank you.
Yep, appreciate it.
Sir.